Is the Supreme Court of the United States losing its grip on the one thing that keeps the American legal system functioning? Public trust? While the High Court usually prefers to keep its internal debates behind closed doors, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson has just blown the lid off the tension brewing inside the chambers. She isn't just questioning a ruling, she is questioning the integrity and the methodology of the entire bench. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and ensures you don't miss the developments that the mainstream media often overlooks. The controversy centers on the Supreme Court's recent handling of a Louisiana gerrymandering case. This wasn't just a typical legal disagreement, it was a procedural speedrun that raised eyebrows across the country. The case, Louisiana versus Calais, revolved around the 2024 congressional map. The heart of the dispute was whether the state's inclusion of a second majority black district was a necessary step to comply with the Voting Rights Act, or if it was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. While the justices eventually issued a ruling that blocked the map, Justice Jackson's gripe wasn't necessarily with the final outcome, it was with the way they got there. During a recent interview hosted by the American Law Institute in Washington, D.C., Jackson slammed the court for being too hasty. She pointed out that the court took the unusual step of skipping its typical month-long waiting period before finalizing its ruling. When you sit on the highest court in the land, the rules you apply to procedure are just as important as the laws you interpret. By rushing the Louisiana case and then using that decision to instruct lower courts in a similar Mississippi redistricting battle, the court sent a signal that didn't sit well with Justice Jackson. She argued that these actions contribute to a dangerous public perception that the court is no longer impartial. Her message to her colleagues was blunt: be better. Jackson emphasized that courts are supposed to be apolitical, sitting above the fray of the daily partisan battleground. She warned that when the court deviates from its established rules, when it acts without a clear, publicly understood reasoning, it creates real-world consequences. In her view, the currency of the judiciary is public confidence. If the people stop believing that the justices are wearing robes of justice rather than red or blue partisan jerseys, the entire institution loses its legitimacy. So, what does this actually mean for the country? We are currently in the middle of a massive national redistricting war. As both parties fight to cement their power through congressional boundaries, the Supreme Court is the final referee. If the highest court is viewed as a political player rather than a neutral arbiter, the legal challenges over voting rights will only intensify. We are looking at a future where every map, every district, and every vote is treated as a strategic win-or-lose battle, with the court being perceived as a tool for one side or the other. The fact that a Supreme Court justice is openly suggesting that the bench needs to be better is a flashing red light for our democratic institutions. It implies that the internal processes meant to ensure fairness are being bypassed for the sake of political expediency. Whether you support the current direction of the court or are worried about its future, one thing is clear: the divide within the Supreme Court is no longer just about legal philosophy, it's about the very survival of its reputation. The question now becomes, is Justice Jackson's public plea enough to change the court's trajectory, or are we witnessing a permanent shift in how the highest court in the land operates? I want to hear from you. Do you think Justice Jackson is right to call out her colleagues, or is she being too idealistic about a court that has always been political? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. We'll keep bringing you the hard truths behind the headlines as the battle for the future of our judicial system unfolds.